windrower broke down, rake broke down, put a new bearing in the windrower, fixed the rake, cut most of the pivot, bearing went out on the conditioner on the windrower, and I wasn't comfortable putting it back in because I'm not that handy. And so I had John Deere guy come put it in for me because he's handy. And so he just called me today and said, hey, I got it all put back in, you're good to go. And now my pivot's broke down, so I can't get my pivot moved out of the way. I had my tools out there, and my DeWalt air impact wouldn't pull off the nuts on the backside of the bolts on the backside of the gearbox. And then so I'm gonna try, I've got a Milwaukee impact. It's not the fuel kind, but I got a Milwaukee impact my dad just bought me. And then the whole reason we bought this bad boy and most of all these Milwaukee tools is for these gearboxes and stuff, because I was running the old style DeWalts and I was having to change batteries like 5 times. And so I'm excited to go. I have to cut the drive shaft down a little bit to fit the new gearbox, and then I'm going to grab the Milwaukee impact out of the tractor and just see on the off chance if it'll take those bolts off that the DeWalt air impact wouldn't take off. While we're on our way out there, I would touch base on what I got going on. I got half the pivot cut, a little over half the pivot cut, so I was like, I'll just go rake what I've got cut. It'll be all right. While the windrower is getting worked on, I'll rake and I'll bale what I've got cut. Well, I went to raking, and it's end of August, should be cooling down at night. But I went to raking and I was losing a bunch of leaves on the alfalfa, so in my brain I thought, I'm just gonna quit and I'll come back tonight, and I need to go check a bunch of cows and stuff anyway, check water and mineral. And so I went and did that, and on my way back I checked the weather, and the wind picked up to like 20 miles an hour last night and blew all night and is blowing all day. So I have not caught a dew. So now what I'm dealing with is this windrower is it's fixed and ready to go. I'm gonna get the pivot fixed and ready to go so I can move it. I don't think I'm gonna cut anymore today, but tonight I'm gonna have to come down at like midnight or something, and I'm gonna have to rake and bale what I've got done, and then rake, and then hopefully be able to bale tomorrow. And if not, I'll have to wait for another dew, and hopefully a dew's tonight. It's supposed to get down to like 56 degrees or something and no wind, so it should dew tonight, I'm hoping. But really put me in a jam. I don't know how much volume, I guess, quantity wise, I've lost by it sitting there. I'm sure I'm gonna lose leaves no matter what now, and I should have just went ahead and raked it and bale it, but I was losing enough leaves that I felt like I was doing more harm than good. You can see it's not the best hay. Over there is where I've got raked. Where the raking stops right there is where the pivot used to be parked. And I hit the pivot in reverse, and then I forgot about it, and it ended up way over here. And then when I clicked it back and forward to put it back over there, this gearbox went out. It's not all the way out. So the end tower on these pivots is almost constantly moving. The inside, obviously, I guess, pretty simple to understand. The inside of the circle hardly ever moves, and the outside moves all the time. So I'm just gonna pop this gearbox off, throw a new gearbox on, which is easier said than done by yourself. They're fairly heavy. But got this sweet new toolbox my dad got me too. He's kind of been hooking me up this summer. The service trailer's kind of all rigged up. I used to have to hook these cables up to the battery of whatever I was jumping, and now I got this cute little solar charger on a battery right there. That way if you're hooking up to a pickup or something that the leads don't reach, you can use that. I'm going to start this air compressor up, and I'll maybe just do a quick video trying to do it with this DeWalt, and then I'll grab the Milwaukee and I'll see if it'll work, and if not, I brought a breaker bar and see if Lincoln can get it off. been fairly impressed with this little air compressor. It's from Harbor Freight. It wasn't very expensive, and it works pretty good. Nothing. We'll grab the Milwaukee, see if it works. And if it doesn't work, then I will grab a breaker bar and a cheater pipe, if I remembered one. Find something to use as a cheater pipe. And do that, go that route. Alright, here's the Milwaukee. It's not the fuel style or whatever. That was impressive. Holy moly. No way. I've heard stories about how good these are, but I was not expecting that. Wowzers. That is impressive. It's not even the fancy fuel kind or whatever. And my air is at just under 125 pounds on my air that I was torquing on that it wasn't even remotely moving. So I would say that's impressive. Here's the drive shaft. This old style is a little bit shorter, so the drive shaft is longer. So when you change the gearbox, you usually have to cut off that drive shaft a little bit. And I'd always just use a grinder with cutoff wheels. But with the old style DeWalt's, with the, I don't know, the style of battery that clips up into it, we never bought new tools, we just bought battery adapters and would put new batteries on there, but it was a pain in the ass and got sparks everywhere. And my father-in-law bought one of these Milwaukee band saws and was telling me how cool it was. And these things are, I'm blown away with these too. I'm excited to cut some pipe. I haven't cut any oil field pipe with it yet, but it's gonna work really nice on this drive shaft. Be the first straight cut drive shaft since I was old enough to work on these. Well, I'm probably not gonna get a very good video of me trying to hold that up because I don't have anything to hold this phone, so we'll try to lean it up maybe. It's usually a pretty good sign that things aren't going well when water runs out of it. Not even oil running out of it, it's just straight water. Gears really don't last that long when you use water for lubricant, turns out. And I'm about out of 1/2-inch bolts. Got one left. Well, I'm back from trip number 7,482 to the shop. I will see if I can prop this phone up somewhere that you guys can get a good giggle at how much I struggle to put these gearboxes on. So if I can set it on here without it catching on fire. My brakes are a little hot. I'm driving like a jackwagon. You'll have that on these bigger jobs. Good. Wonder if I can wedge it right here. Wedge her in the old rigmarole. Could it be? No way. All right. I'll give her hell. Whew. Here we go. Funnest part of the day. Faux show. God, I hate this. The bus just went by. I'm kind of surprised I haven't heard from Merritt yet saying to come get him from the gulch because he's bored. Oh man, my arms are not long enough. Usually I sit the other way, but I didn't want to block the this high quality video we got going on here. Solid. This thing is just impressive. Yeah. All right. The next fun part's putting the tire on. But for now, the trick is before you put the tire on, get your drive shaft all geared up so you're not messing around behind the tire. So we'll see if we can get this drive shaft rigged up, move this tire out of the way a little bit. There. And I kind of switched gearbox or U-joint styles. That's the style we've been using. And I'm just gonna pop these 7/16 bolts off, put that one back on. And then this side I'll cut off and I'll put these new kind of universal looking ones. I don't know how much I trust these, but it's what we've been using. They're a lot easier for sure. I'll give them that. But for now, I'll pop these 7/16 off and put that on. Since I updated that center drive already, that side of this drive shaft's been cut. So it's gonna be, I'm gonna cut as close to that U-joint as I can. But it's gonna be pretty close to being too damn short. So that's good. That's what I like to hear. See if I can cut this without. Safety first, that's what I always say. That and everyone Wang Chung tonight. Look at that. Had to use two hands there for a second. I was afraid for I use my feet a lot. I like to walk and such. But it's about 85 times faster than the old grinder disc. Slap the U-joints back on. Hope to goodness they reach. If they don't, I gotta go. I'm not gonna lie, if you don't have one of these new 1/2-inch impacts, go buy one. You'll thank yourself. Tires on, gearbox is on, drive shaft's on. Lower my super duper handyman jack, pick up my mess. We'll go kick the pivot on and see if it works. I've been packing guns around everywhere, haying, because the first cutting, I saw two badgers out here just digging their way to China. And they might have made it because I have not seen them again. And I thought for sure that they were like a turtle or something, and that like you just camp out long enough, you'll see them. No, I Googled it. They can stay underground for like 20 days. They can have like thousands of feet of tunnels. They can have up to 50 like openings. The odds of me seeing one of these badgers again and having a gun, I feel like, are very, very minimal. But nonetheless, I'm staying very vigilant because I think I'm gonna find them. But this pivot is pocket gophers and badgers, and it is rough. And if we didn't have a disc bind mower, I don't know what we would do, because I don't think a sickle would plow through all this dirt that we dig up on this pivot. I think this fall I'm gonna try to poison them, but I'm gonna either harrow it or disc it, or not disc it, but like roller pack it, one of the two, and then I'll come out and poison as the new holes pop up. But I don't know, I'm so far behind that I don't know if I'll get them or not. Anyway, really didn't have anything important, just thought I'd visit while I was on my way to the center of the pivot here. We'll go over here, see if we can get her going. We're probably gonna have to hit the override switch because it's safetied out, so we'll have to override the safety shut off just for a tiny bit. Power on. Valley. See that little tower right there? Means you're broke down. So I was going forward. I'm just gonna hit reverse and see if it'll start. No. Dink. Tower. Okay, so here I hit the safety override. I'll hold that and I'll push start and keep an eye on it. I hate holding the override button on the safety, makes me nervous. But that very end tower, I don't know if I've ever explained how these pivots work. They've got like it's electric. It used to be an actual physical piece of wire that ran the whole length of the pivot. But now it's a electric wire, but on every tower there's a micro switch, which is just, it's like a light switch that's, I mean, just barely touches and it turns. So every tower has 2 rods, one on each side. So literally every tower kinks, and that kink hits the micro switch and sends a wire down the electrical wire to the next tower and says, okay, you go, until it straightens that one out, and then it kinks the next one, tells the next one to go, so on and so forth. So now we're gonna hit stop and forward because I don't want it going in reverse. I just wanted to get it straightened back out so it'll run. So I've got her on 90%. So it's gonna go fairly quickly. And as soon as it gets kind of over here, somewhere right in there, I'll shut it off. That way tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, whenever it gets too dry to bale, I'll jump in the windrower and I'll finish cutting this alfalfa behind me, and then go cut a couple little fields of millet that I've got around here. Hopefully have this all baled up tomorrow night or the morning after tomorrow, something like that. But pretty good waste of the day.